On this problem, we're asked the same questions that we were on the previous two problems. Find the fixed cost, variable costs, so revenue, profit, break even, so forth. The difference is our starting point. Instead of giving us the equation, they've given us data. So let's bring this into Excel, and we'll have Excel create the equations for us through models. Insert scatter plot. And notice that it didn't pick up the series names. I've got 3 different points. And the color coding is off. So let me right click on the graph and select the data, switch the row and the column. And notice that it's now picked up the names of the price and the cost. That looks better. And the prices only are 8 and 15 while the cost is 400 and 300. So I'm going to click on one of these blue points. It will select that series and then right click, format the data series. I want to put that blue series on a secondary axis. That looks better. So reading the second axis from 0 to 16 for the blue points, from 0 to 450 for the orange points. Okay, on the blue points, get a trend line. This is my price function. I'm going to go ahead and document that. And then back on my chart, if I select the other series and then add a chart element, linear, and display the equation on the chart, that should be my cost function. I'll document that. So now that I've done the modeling and I have those two equations, I'm back to the same starting point that I was in the previous two problems. So identify the fixed costs. The fixed costs are the constant part of the cost function. And the variable cost is the slope, the coefficient on the x. Find the revenue and the profit functions. Move my chart out of the way for a moment. Okay, revenue, price times quantity. My price function is negative 0.1489. And while I'm thinking about it, let me take out the x and put in a q. Plus 22.596. And all of that times by another q. The revenue function, negative 0.1489 q squared plus 22.596 q. And then profit is revenue minus cost. Revenue 1489 q squared. Okay, and then takeaway cost. I need to subtract both terms, so I'll put parentheses around that. Put a q in place of x. And I can clean that up a little bit. I've got negative 0.1489 q squared. Then I have 22.596 q minus 1.5106 q. Figure that out. 2.596 take away 1.5106 plus 21.0854 q. And then this will distribute through and make negative 254.96. Okay, that's a profit function and revenue function. Evaluate each of those at a value of 87 and then find the break-even points. Okay, at this point, I'm going to switch and create a chart here, create my data units. I need price and then cost and then revenue and profit. For units, 87 price. Price equation was, there it is, negative 0.1489 times the units plus 22.596. Cost 1.5406 times the units plus 254.96. Okay, then revenue is price times by units. And profit is equal to revenue take away cost. And notice how when the formula is typing, I can't see what's in my cell above anymore. That just means that my rows are too small for my font. So now if I were to double click now, see the font doesn't overflow into the previous row. So in units is 87, fill in the cost, the price, revenue, profit, and find some break-even points. So let's see, let's go 10, 20, 30, 40, up to, I don't know, try that much, see how it goes. This time I want to get a picture of it, but I only want to graph the profit function. So I don't need to send all of the data to be graphed. I'm just going to select the units and then hold down the control key, and I can select non-contiguous over here, profit column, and then insert a chart, scatter plot. There we go. And I should have a break-even point somewhere less than 20. And then the profit will equal 0 again, crossing the x-axis at about 130. I can also see that looking at my data, and remember that these data, let me just kind of gray those out for a minute. That was to answer part C. So there should be a 0 in between these 2 points. I'll take this one, my goal C. I want that profit value to be set to 0 by changing the number of units. That looks good. And then my other value was at about 130. So I'll do a what if again. Set that to 0 by changing the number of units. Okay, my 2 break-even points should be 13.3504 and 128.